بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. I had a technical problem. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. So we continue from where we left off. So I just asked Sheikh Muhammad about, and when I say Sheikh, subhanallah, I never thought that people would might take that as if a person is saying to his students Sheikh in order to lift them up and as if they are shuyukh. So if he is their teacher, and none of that actually came across my mind. But I heard this from some people in regards to other people, not me. But subhanallah, sometimes this word Sheikh is used as something out of respect. And sometimes, especially in our communities like Saudi, Kuwait, somebody you might call someone who is not even a student of knowledge, you say, no, ya Sheikh, that's not what is meant. So this is something that is used in both senses. However, when it comes to what some people think, subhanallah, saying that this person is saying his Sheikh to show that his students, this is not what we mean in any way, shape, or form. طيب. So going back, I asked Sheikh Muhammad, I said, Sheikh Muhammad, what is this word طب, pure medicine? Why is it used to refer to an ailment, which is sorcery, magic, something, an ailment? The Arabs, they named things how do you say it in English? With their opposite, to be optimistic. saying به طب, he has cure, meaning that he has an ailment. What they mean is they're being optimistic that it will be cured. And this is a way of how the Arabs speak. Beautiful, wallah. Beautiful. Beautiful. The Arabic language and how the Arabs speak. So this is one of the benefits in this hadith that we forgot to mention. So when somebody says matbub, meaning what? That sorcery. He is under a spell. طيب. But the word matbub comes from the word tib, and tib is cure, and so on. Medicine, cure. So that this is optimism, that it will be cured. This is a way of the Arabs speaking. طيب. نعم, continue Sheikh Ali.
أحسن الله إليكم. Al-Bukhari reports from Qatada radiyallahu an, I said to Ibn al-Musayyib rahimahullah, a man is under a magical spell or is unable to cohabitate with his wife. Should we treat him with by a Nushrah or apply some other
and
means
the Messenger
to cure the spell?
we just read that the Messenger said, and Nushrah is from the act of the devil. It's from the devil. طيب. Here he was asked, can we use Nushrah? What did he say? Go ahead, Akhi Ali.
أحسن الله إليك. Ibn al-Musayyib rahimahullah replied, it is all right because they intend a restoration or mending. That which benefits is not forbidden.
So what is understood is what, ya ikhwa? Umar. Umar Williams. What is understood? Maybe he's busy. Nur al-Islam. What is understood from this?
Naam, can you repeat that? I can't really hear it.
You can't really hear. Okay, the answer is that it is allowed. What can, on face value, when we read this, then as long as it is not harmful, it is allowed. So some of the ulama, they understood this from Ibn al-Musayyib. So we have now different understandings of what Ibn al-Musayyib said. So on face value, he sees that there is nothing wrong with it. When we take what he said, what is understood from what he said is that there is not to undo sorcery. And some of the people of ilm, they said, this is not what he intended. This is not the answer that Ibn al-Musayyib intended. And the And what is يعني the طيب, I'm getting another message telling me my internet connection is not stable. Allah al-Musta'an. Today maybe there's something wrong with the
Just about to say that because you were going in and out, but I couldn't hear if you were actually calling my name.
نعم, I did. طيب, Allah al-Musta'an. طيب, do I need to repeat or did you hear this? Can you reply on the YouTube chat? Having technical problems today, Allah al-Musta'an. Was that understood? Can you reply please on YouTube? Let me know if I need to repeat. Repeat, huh? طيب. Okay, let's repeat. So Ibn al-Musayyib, so the Messenger sallallahu, I'm going to summarize. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "An-Nushrah is from the devil, from the acts of the devil or the deeds of the devil." طيب. And when Ibn al-Musayyib, Qatada said when he told Ibn al-Musayyib about Nushrah, he said it is okay. They just want to cure with it and they want to, and that which is beneficial, it is allowed. So what is understood from what Ibn al-Musayyib said, that it is allowed. So the people of ilm understood two different things. We have two understandings of the people of ilm in regards to what Ibn al-Musayyib said. So some of the people of ilm said that Ibn al-Musayyib meant that using sorcery to undo sorcery is what is allowed. And some of the people of ilm, they said what? They said, no, this is not what he intended. This is not what he wanted by saying that. And even if he did, what is counted and what is reliable and what we follow is the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, it is from the shaitan. So even if Ibn al-Musayyib said, we follow the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. What is counted and what we follow is the saying of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And this is a qa'idah. This is a fundamental basis. Some of the people of bid'ah, they say, al-Shafi'i said. We follow the Shafi'i. Al-Shafi'i said. And al-Shafi'i never said. Because they don't really care about isnad. They just care about something that goes along with their misguidance. And if they truly followed the Shafi'i said what? Said whatever is established that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and I have said, يعني the opposite of that, then disregard that and take what the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. And my madhab is what the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. So the A'imma, the Salaf, they said this. If they said something which is, and it later turned on that it is not the Sunnah, then their madhab is the Sunnah. What has turned out to be, and disregard what we have said, that is not the Sunnah. This is the Salaf. This is a Shafi'i and Abu Hanifa. And so if people truly followed them, they would follow the Sunnah. But these people, they only attribute themselves to the fiqh. They don't attribute themselves to the aqidah and following the hadith, because they reject the hadith, and Allah al-Musta'an. So in this sense that we have just spoke about, there is some of the ulama understood that Ibn al-Musayyib said you can use sorcery. And some of the ulama said, no, this is not what he meant and this is not what he said. So the second saying goes along with what Shaykh Sulaiman Rahili said. Shaykh Sulaiman Rahili said there isn't a single word that was reported by the Salaf. So if you come and say, but Ibn al-Musayyib said, he says, no, that's not what he wanted. There isn't a single word. You understand? Barakallahu fikum. Don't think that now, if we go to Shaykh Sulaiman Rahili, say, here you go, we have evidence. Ibn al-Musayyib said, he's going to say, no, this is not what was meant. It is not meant that an-Nushrah here is the Nushrah using sorcery. It is something else. And that's why we gave the introduction. We said that, for example, unfolding and dispelling the sorcery that was done, for example, by the Quran and the Sunnah is allowed. So this could be considered Nushrah. So this is what Ibn al-Musayyib, for example, I'm just making an example. I'm not saying the Mashayikh said, I'm just making an example. So this is what is meant by Ibn al-Musayyib. You understand? So that's the difference of understanding. Na'am.
Sheikh, أحسن الله إليكم. Just I was waiting to tell you the hadith of Qatada. It says أو يؤخذ عن امرأته, right?
نعم.
نعم. I think you mistakenly said أو يؤخذ عن امرأته.
Did I?
أو
أو
yes.
يؤخذ. You're right. نعم بارك الله فيك.
نعم.
أحسن الله إليك وجزاك الله
وفيك.
خيرا. نعم. So it is said ويؤخذ, not ويؤخذ. I have mistakenly said that. نعم.
أحسن الله إليكم.
And also to continue it أو أيحل أو ينشر. So this is also what is said. Maybe I have said ينشر by mistake. I don't know. Allah أعلم. وينشر as well. So يؤخذ and ينشر. Anyway, نعم.
أحسن الله إليكم. Imam al-Hassan al-Basri rahimahullah is of the view that only a sorcerer and magician can break the spell of another sorcerer.
No. The Sheikh did not say this. The Sheikh said, and al-Hasan said, it is narrated that al-Hasan said, لا يحل السحر إلا ساحر. Nobody يعني يحل السحر undoes it except a ساحر. طيب. السلف, our pious predecessors, they differed when it comes to Nushrah. Some of them hated it, all of it, like Ibn Mas'ud and his companions. And the reason is that because it has something which is haram, or that it leads to something that is haram. And some of the Salaf, they allowed it. So they said it is allowed that which is useful, which is beneficial, just like Ibn Musayyab said, and add to it. Write this down. So and this is what Shaykh Sulaiman al-Hayli sees, that what is beneficial, and it has to be what? Permissible, allowed by Allah. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed and made permissible. So the Nushrah, which is permissible, is that which is beneficial and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed. And Nushrah, which is haram, which is prohibited, that which is harmful and which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited. And Shaykh Sulaiman al-Hayli commented on what al-Hasan said, لا يحل السحر إلا ساحر, that a person who removes or undoes the sihr is a sahir, is a magician himself. The Shaykh said what is meant by this is that the people who are able to do this are mostly magicians, and that is why Ibn Mas'ud hated it. طيب. When we say that, I'm asking a question now. I want everyone to answer. When we say كرهه السلف, the Salaf hated it, what is the ruling? Is it?
It's haram.
Ali says it's haram. Can't we say it's makruh? It's frowned upon. It is disliked.
نعم.
طيب, we have Hassan saying نعم, it is disliked. Umar.
حرام.
Umar saying haram and Ali saying haram. طيب, we have many answers. Let's see what the brothers are saying. We have Muhammad saying it's disliked, I think he's saying. And then everyone haram, 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 haram. Why are you saying haram? Aren't we used to saying that karihahu meaning makruh? When you say disliked, meaning it is disliked and it is haram. Why is everyone saying haram? Let me make it easier for you. The answer is just like the majority said, haram. It is haram. Yes, this is what is meant. But why did you say haram? Even though makruh. Nobody knows?
Because you said hate it, so from my knowledge, I would think that hate it would mean that it would be more so haram. Rather, if you said actual dislike, it would be disliked.
And that's what they said. They said disliked. Disliked, hated. If we look, we say makruh to the thing that that is disliked. That's what we say. And here, كرهه ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas disliked it. Why are you saying haram? Sadiq says the Salaf meant in some content that it is haram. Allah also used in the Quran also the same word for things that are haram. طيب. Because we shouldn't do what the Salaf dislike. Umar. You should know this, Umar. You from all people, you should know this and concentrate. طيب. أحسنت أبو حفص. Abu Hafsa and Sadiq. Barakallahu fikum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. The terminologies, these terminologies, wajib, meaning mandatory, mustahab, meaning liked, haram, meaning disliked, or muharram, and makruh, or karaha, meaning, haram, meaning prohibited, or muharram, meaning prohibited, and makruh, or karaha, meaning disliked, and mubah, meaning permissible. These are mustalahat, terminologies that the fuqaha, they used. And there is no prohibition in this. When you use terminologies in order to make ilm easier, for example, this is not haram. If we say, write down the conditions, 1, 2, 3, 4, this makes ilm easier. This is not haram. But the Salaf al-Salih, the Sahaba and the Tabi, they didn't know this. This came later on. So when they say karihahu, or when they say that this is makruh or karaha, meaning either karahat tahrim or karahat يعني تنزه يعني karaha, disliked, meaning karaha of prohibition, that it is disliked meaning it is prohibited, or that is disliked meaning frowned upon, disliked. We have something called karahatu tahrim, and we have something called karahatu tanzih. Karahat tanzih, meaning that you should not do this. Thus the word tanzih, that you are above this. You don't do it. And when we say karahatu tahrim, meaning it is prohibited. And mostly the Salaf al-Salih, when they say it is makruh or they hated it, it means prohibited. Thus, it is dangerous that you seek ilm without a shaykh. You open a book, you say, Ibn Abbas thinks it's hated, meaning it is allowed, it's only frowned upon. We say, no. Ilm is taken from the ulama. If you have taken ilm from the ulama, you would understand that the Salaf, they said makruh, meaning it is haram. Meaning it is haram. Imagine if somebody read that. I'm just giving an example. And for example, al-shighar, that someone marries off his daughter so that that person gives him his sister's hand in marriage. This is called shighar. So if they say karihahu salaf, this is makruh, he thinks it's allowed, but it is hated. No, it is haram. That's what is meant. The same here. He reads Ibn Mas'ud hated using sorcery to undo sorcery. He says it's permissible, but better not to do it. We say, no, you do not understand. You did not seek ilm from the ulama. Or they would have told you and showed you with evidence. You understand? Barakallahu fikum. And this is one of the evidences. Ibn Mas'ud deems it to be haram. All of it. طيب. So the Sheikh Sulaiman Rahili, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him, he said, يعني لا يكاد يقدر على ذلك إلا ساحر. Meaning it is almost undoable by anyone else other than someone who is a sorcerer himself to undo sorcery. And this is وهذا وجه الكراهة, meaning كراهة التحريم for Ibn Mas'ud. And this is what the Shaykh said. And that is why Ibn Mas'ud saw that all of it is prohibited, because what? It is almost undoable by anyone who is not a sorcerer. Mostly sorcerers, the ones who do this. And this is the meaning of what Al-Hasan al-Basri, who's also one of the Tabi'een, said. Na'am, Ibn al-Qayyim said, go ahead.
أحسن الله إليكم.
I forgot one thing to mention, which is extremely important. Write this down. Write this down. There is a kind of Nushrah which is permissible to do. There is a type or a kind of Nushrah which is permissible to do. Like using ruqya and using ta'awudat, like saying for example, and this is a hadith. Let's say somewhere hurts you, so you put your right hand on the place that hurts you. Let's say my shoulder. I put my right hand on the shoulder and I say Bismillah. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us this. So you say Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. How many times did I say it? 3 times. And then you say أعوذ بعزة الله وقدرته من شر ما أجد وأحاذر. أعوذ, and these are تعوذات and دعاء تعوذات. So you say أعوذ بعزة الله وقدرته من شر ما أجد وأحاذر. So this is one of the ad'iyah. And the translation roughly would be that I seek refuge by Allah, بعزة الله, by the might of Allah, and قدرته, his ability, min sharri, from the evil or the harm of what I find, yani from the pain that I find, and what I seek refuge from, or that I seek, yani so on and so forth. You say it 7 times. So you say Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah 3 times, and then you say أعوذ بعزة الله وقدرته من شر ما أجد وأحاذر 7 times, and in some ahadith 5 times. So these are ta'awudat, and by making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so on and so forth. So this type, if somebody has sorcery done on him, and he makes ruqya by the Quran, by the Sunnah, by the dua, and so on and so forth, this is allowed. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed, and this is permissible. Our Sheikh Muhammad Hisham al-Tahiri, he says, when the Sheikh sits, there's somebody sitting next to the Sheikh, one of the students of knowledge. And sometimes they have tea or coffee, and they give the Sheikh. So the Sheikh says that he went, a'azzakumullah, to the bathroom, and he saw that a lot of redness was coming out. So he thought what? He thought that maybe he drank too much tea and so on and so on. But he said it continued with him. It continued with him. So he went to the doctor. The doctor told him that there is something that has to do with his intestines and that he needs surgery. It is urgent. Sheikh said, what surgery? What are you talking about? They said surgery. He asked, are you sure? I don't feel anything. I just see red coming out. They said blood and so on, and this is blood, and you need surgery, urgent. The Sheikh said, he went to his car and he put his hand on his belly. He said, Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. أعوذ بعزة الله وقدرته من شر ما أجد وأحاذر. And he made ruqya. And he says his family, meaning maybe his wife, also made ruqya on him. He says from that day until now, he did not need surgery. Everything stopped, and it never came back again by the will of Allah. Subhanallah. You do the necessary means. The Quran does not heal you on its own. The dua you're making does not heal you on its own, and so on. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. So you do the necessary means, and if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills that you are cured, you will be cured. طيب, what if you wanted to do this on somebody else? If he's a male, you're doing this dua on your brother, you say, Bismillah, 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 أعيذك بعزة الله وقدرته من شر ما تجد وتحاذر. So we changed it. Because you are telling him, what if it was your wife or your daughter? You say, not أعيذك, you say, Bismillah, 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 أعيذك بعزة الله وقدرته من شر ما تجدي وتحاذري. أعيذك بعزة الله وقدرته من شر ما تجدي وتحاذري. This is the dua. This is from the ruqya. That is why, ya ikhwa, we always advise when someone says, I have jinn in me, I have sihr, I am not feeling well. I want to make the adhkar, I want to, so on and so forth, we say use the Muslim Fortress. The Muslim Fortress, Hisn al-Muslim, this is a book that was read to Sheikh Ibn Baz, and he has praised it. He praised it. This book called the Muslim Fortress. There are applications with the book. It is sold as small booklets, and so on and so forth, and it is extremely beneficial. It has even how do you wash with sidr, how do you recite the Quran on water, on this, on that. Everything is there. Read them. What do you say when you wake up, when you sleep, and so on and so forth. So use this. Na'am.
أحسن الله إليكم. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah wrote that al-Nushrah is removing the effects of sorcery and spells from the affected one, and it is of two types. Number one, the use of magic, sorcery, to remove the effects of another magic, and it is an act of shaitan, to which the comment of Imam al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah applies, i.e. that the one who performs sorcery and the patient both get closer to shaitan by that which he loves. Shaitan then removes the effects of magic from the afflicted. Number two,
so the shaitan, he does what? There's sihr, magic done upon a person. Or, na'am, barakallahu feek. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your good manners. Na'am, you can go, barakallahu. طيب. And so, or the jinn would harm someone so that this person goes to a sahir, goes to a magician, and then the jinn would let him go. Yani the jinn harms a person so that this person commits kufr, and then he has accomplished his mission. He just wants you to get outside the fold of Islam, so then he lets you go. So you seek nearness to the shaitan, which is major kufr. التقرب للشيطان كفر أكبر. And then he does what? He stops harming you. Subhanallah. May we seek refuge by Allah from the shaitan and sorcery and magicians and kufr. نعم.
أحسن الله إليكم. The effects of magic can be removed by making recitation of Quranic verses, by offering legitimate ad'iyah, ruqya, as well as by using pharmaceutical preparations.
No, medicines. والأدوية المباحة.
Medicine, now. No. أحسن الله إليكم. This type of nushrah is permissible.
نعم, this is what Ibn al-Qayyim said in إعلام الموقعين. نعم.
أحسن الله إليكم. Important issues of the chapter. Number one, prohibition of a nushrah. Number two, the difference between the prohibited and what is permitted for the removal of such problems.
نعم. So, forbiddance of a nushrah, meaning all types of nushrah except that which is done by Quran and dua and so on and so forth, and by medicine. نعم. طيب, we will start here inshallah azza wa jal. طبعا the book of Tawheed, يا إخوة, we can finish the book of Tawheed in 7 hours, 6 hours. We can finish it in 1 day, in 2 days. But that would be going through this very quickly. As you can see, we are taking our time. We are bringing what the ulama said. We are bringing what they said from their books. We are even, if you have watched some of the previous lessons, we bring what Sheikh bin Baz said, what Sheikh bin Uthaymeen said, what Sheikh Salih al-Sheikh said, what Sheikh Islam ibn Taymiyyah said, what the Salaf said, what this, what that, and we bring from different sources and so on. This is what we decided upon when we started the explanation of the book of Tawheed. So it takes its time, and it is very beneficial, insha'Allah azza wa jal. There will be no Q&A in session. Or maybe the brothers asked me that 5 minutes, maybe after each lesson, 5 minutes. And we will start doing that from today, insha'Allah azza wa jal. So the Zoom will be sent. Please excuse me, it's only 5 to 10 minutes. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant.